Stop lying to yourself. The only thing standing between you and the life you want is the BS story you keep telling yourself as to why you can't have it. You don't need a better plan, you need a higher standard. Today, we kill the excuses and we demand the results. Are you ready to take back your power? Radical personal accountability is the fundamental psychological shift from being a passenger in your life to being the captain of your soul. Most people operate on a blame frame where they point toward the economy, their upbringing, their boss, or the current political climate as the primary reasons for their current position in life. While those external factors are real, they are not the determining factor. The moment you offer an excuse based on something outside of your control, you have effectively handed over your power to that entity. You are saying, I cannot succeed because they won't let me, which is the ultimate form of self-sabotage. Accountability means acknowledging that while you cannot control the wind, you are the only one responsible for the set of the sail. It is the realization that your life is not a result of your conditions, but a result of your decisions. When you adopt this mindset, the language of I can't or I have to disappears and is replaced by I must and I choose. This isn't just about taking the credit when things go well. It's about having the emotional fortitude to own the failures without using them as a pillow to rest on. If you are where you want to be physically, financially, or emotionally, a person with radical accountability doesn't look for a scapegoat. They look in the mirror and ask, what am I tolerating? We get what we're tolerating. If you tolerate excuses, you will get a life filled with them. If you tolerate a lack of discipline, you will get a lack of results. True power comes from the terrifying but liberating realization that if you are the problem, you are also the solution. By taking 100% responsibility for everything in your experience, even the things that aren't your fault, you gain the leverage required to change them. Fault is looking backward at who to blame. Responsibility is looking forward at how to fix it. This shift requires a massive upgrade in your internal standards. It demands that you stop being a victim of your history and start being the master of your destiny. You have to kill the part of you that wants to be right about why things didn't work out and birth the part of you that is obsessed with making things work out and birth the part of you that is obsessed. This is the bedrock of all peak performance, because once you stop making excuses, the only thing left to produce is results. The power of state is the ultimate X factor that determines whether you execute on your goals or shrink back into the shadows of hesitation. Most people believe they need to wait for motivation to strike them like lightning before they can take action. But motivation is a feeling, and feelings are fickle. State is a deliberate, conscious choice you make with your physiology and your focus. Think about it. Have you ever been in a rut where every task felt like climbing Mount Everest? That wasn't because the task changed. It was because your state was weak. Your shoulders were slumped, your breathing was shallow, and your internal dialogue was focused on how tired you were. Conversely, have you ever been in the zone where you felt invincible and obstacles seemed to melt away? That is a peak state, and the secret that the world's highest achievers know is that you don't wait for that state to happen to you. You demand it from yourself. You can change your entire emotional reality in a heartbeat by changing how you move and what you focus on. Physiology is the fastest lever you have. If you want to shatter an excuse, you cannot do it while sitting in a chair with your head down. You have to move. You have to breathe deeply, stand tall, and move with a sense of urgency and power that signals to your nervous system that the time for maybe is over and the time for must has arrived. When you change your physical posture, you literally change the biochemistry of your brain. You move from a state of cortisol-soaked stress and doubt to a state of testosterone-driven confidence and certainty. But physiology is only half the battle, the other half is focus. Focus is the steering wheel of your life. If you are focused on what might go wrong or what you don't have, or how hard the road is, you are essentially driving your car while looking only at the potholes. A peak state requires you to fix your gaze on the result, the vision, and the why that is bigger than any how. When you combine a powerful physiology with a laser-like focus on your outcome, you create an internal environment where excuses cannot breathe. Excuses require a low-energy environment to survive. They need you to be passive, tired, and distracted. But when you step into a peak state, you become a force of nature. You stop asking, can I? And you start declaring, I will. This isn't about positive thinking or some fake it till you make it mantra. It's about biological and psychological alignment. It is about conditioning yourself to operate at a level where your energy dictates your reality rather than letting your reality dictate your energy. Gemini said the obsession with how is the ultimate dream killer because it is the most common mask that fear wears to keep you paralyzed. Most people spend their entire lives waiting for a perfect map, a step-by-step blueprint, or a guarantee that the path will be smooth before they ever take the first step. They say, I'll start the business when I know exactly how to market it, or I'll change my life when I have the perfect plan. But the truth is, the how is never the problem. The problem is that your why isn't strong enough to make the how irrelevant. When you have a massive, burning, emotional purpose, a reason that pulls you out of bed at 4 a.m, that keeps you focused when everyone else is sleeping, you will find the way, or you will make one. The why is the fuel in your engine. Without it, you're just a high-performance vehicle sitting in the garage with an empty tank, overanalyzing the mechanics of the road while you go nowhere. A powerful why is not about a should. We all have a list of things we should do. I should lose weight, I should lose weight, I should save more money, I should be more present, but shoulds don't change lives, musts do. Your why has to be something that hits you in the gut. It has to be tied to your family, your legacy, your identity, or a pain so great that staying where you are becomes utterly intolerable. When the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of the change, that is when the breakthrough happens. This is about leverage. If I asked you to walk across a narrow plank of wood suspended between 2 skyscrapers for $20, you'd tell me I'm crazy. You'd focus on the how high it is, how windy it is, how impossible it feels. But if your child was on the other building and it was on fire, you wouldn't ask how. You would be across that plank before you even had time to breathe. The how becomes a footnote when the why is a matter of life and death. Stop looking for the perfect strategy and start looking for the reason that makes surrender impossible. Strategy is cheap, execution is everything, and execution is driven by emotion. Most people fail because they have a weak why. They are trying to achieve a goal to impress people they don't even like, or because they think they're supposed to. But when your why is rooted in your deepest values and your highest vision, you become resourceful. You become a person who figures it out as they go. You stop being a manager of circumstances and you start being a creator of results. Massive immediate action is the final non-negotiable step that separates the dreamers from the achievers, because knowledge without execution is the ultimate delusion. You can have the most radical accountability, the most peak state, and the most burning why in the world. But if you do not move physically, tangibly, and right now, all of that energy will dissipate into the ether of someday. Most people are getting ready to get ready. They are perpetually preparing, researching, and waiting for the stars to align. But the stars never align for the person who's standing still. Motion creates its own momentum. The moment you have an insight, the moment you make a decision, you must marry that decision to a physical action. You have to put your skin in the game. If you don't take action within the first few minutes of a breakthrough, the law of diminishing intent kicks in. Your brain will start to rationalize why you should wait until Monday, why you need more information, or why you're not quite ready yet. You have to kill those excuses with the blunt instrument of speed. Speed is the currency of success. When you move fast, you don't have time to be afraid. Fear is a luxury of the stagnant. When you are in motion, you are too busy adjusting your course, learning from your mistakes, and pushing through resistance to listen to the whispers of doubt. Massive action doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It means you have to be persistent. It means you stop dipping your toe in the water and you dive into the deep end. You don't need to see the whole staircase to take the first step, but you do need to take that step with everything you've got. This is about breaking the habit of hesitation. Every time you hesitate, you are training your brain that your goals are negotiable. Every time you act immediately, you are training your nervous system that you are closer. You are telling yourself that when a window of opportunity opens, you don't look at it, you go through it. You must commit to a level of action that is unreasonable to the average person. While others are talking about what they're going to do, you're already halfway there. You have to outwork your doubt and outpace your fear. This isn't about trying, it's about doing. Trying is just a loud way of saying you've already given yourself an out. Results don't come to those who try. They come to those who demand them through sheer, relentless, massive volume of effort. You have to be willing to fail, willing to look foolish, and willing to get knocked down as long as you are moving forward. The bridge between the life you have and the life you want is built out of the actions you take when you don't feel like it, when you're tired, and when you don't have all the answers.